In 2015, a traffic jam on the Beijing highway blocked the entire 50-lane highway, creating a massive gridlock. Similarly, in 1980, a traffic jam on the French autoroute highway was so severe that vehicles were stuck for 175 kilometers from Paris to Lyon. This traffic jam took several days to clear. Traffic jams have also occurred in Brazil, Germany, and America, with reports of vehicles being stuck for up to 12 days. But today, I'm going to talk about a traffic jam that you will undoubtedly find astonishing. This traffic jam did not last for a few days, weeks, or even a month. It lasted a staggering 8 years. The longest and most challenging traffic jam in history occurred in the Suez Canal, where ships and their thousands of crew members were trapped for the next 8 years. Clearing traffic jams on highways and expressways might take several days, but clearing a jam in the Suez Canal was beyond anyone's capability. Here is the interesting story of this unique and longest-lasting traffic jam in history. We all know that the Suez Canal is considered the jewel of the shipping and trading industry. Before 1869, when the shipping industry did not have the gift of the Suez Canal, ships had to travel all the way around the African continent to get from Europe to Asia. The Suez Canal transformed this month-long journey into a matter of days, allowing ships to travel directly from the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea and access the Asian continent. This route saved about 10,000 kilometers. Additionally, African waters were often plagued by pirate gangs who used to loot ships passing through. The Suez Canal helped protect ships from these pirates. On June 5, 1967, 15 cargo ships entered the Suez Canal from the Mediterranean side. Normally, it took ships about 12 hours to cross the canal, but today, this 12-hour journey was about to turn into years. At that time, tensions between Egypt and Israel were already high, and both neighbors were preparing for war. If you look at the map, the line is the border between Israel and Egypt. The Suez Canal is about 200 kilometers away from this border. Because of this distance, neither Egypt nor the 15 ships had any concern about the growing tensions with Israel. But on this day, something happened that escalated the situation, and suddenly war broke out. Israeli forces launched a surprise attack on Egypt. Within just 1 hour, rockets and planes had already hit the Suez Canal. The situation deteriorated so badly that the Egyptian forces immediately closed the Suez Canal from both sides. For the next 6 days, intense fighting continued, but the Israeli forces managed to capture the entire Sinai Peninsula. The new border between Israel and Egypt was now the Suez Canal, which separated the two countries. This was a severe blow to Egypt. To prevent Israeli forces from crossing the canal, Egypt stationed ships on both sides of the canal, destroyed its bridges, and installed mines throughout the canal. The only reason for doing this was to ensure that neither Israel nor anyone else could use the canal. During this time, 15 cargo ships were stuck in the Great Bitter Lake, stranded between the Egyptian army to the west and Israeli forces to the east. They could neither return to the Mediterranean nor proceed to the Red Sea. In short, these ships had no option but to wait in their location. Besides these ships, there were other ships that had been halted in the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, waiting in hopes that the situation would resolve. But things were getting worse. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, but the conflict between Egypt and Israel showed no sign of ending. The global impact was significant, shipping was delayed, and freight charges increased manifold. Ships that previously used the Suez Canal to travel from Europe to the Middle East and Asia now had to go around the African continent again. As the war continued, the 15 ships and their crews remained trapped, facing their own difficulties. Ships from Britain, Germany, Sweden, Poland, France, Bulgaria, and America were among those stuck. After several months, shipping companies began recalling most of the crew, leaving only 10 people per ship for maintenance. Every few months, this crew was rotated in hopes that they might eventually manage to free the trapped ships. During the long wait, friendships grew among the crews of the 15 ships. To cope with the depression, they organized various activities. A small church was set up on the German ship where all the Christians gathered every Sunday. The Bulgarian ship had daily movie nights, the Swedish ship hosted pool parties, and football games were played on the British ship. Years passed, but the ships remained stuck in the same place. Eventually, a layer of silt accumulated on them. Since these were neutral ships and had no involvement in the war, neither Israel nor Egypt objected to the delivery of food and supplies. In 1973, the war erupted again, but this time, it was initiated by Egypt. Egypt launched a full-scale attack on the Sinai Peninsula and pushed Israeli forces back. Intense fighting occurred on both sides, but an Israeli rocket accidentally hit and destroyed an American ship. After a week of fighting and thousands of casualties on both sides, a ceasefire agreement was reached on October 24, 1973. The 6-year-long war was over, but the traffic jam for the trapped ships seemed to continue. Over these 6 years, the canal was littered with debris from ships and rockets, and Egypt had also installed mines. Clearing the Suez Canal took Egypt an additional 2 years. On June 5, 1975, the Suez Canal was finally reopened after 8 years. It was time for the 14 trapped ships to finally leave the canal. When they returned to their countries, they were warmly welcomed. After 8 years of being blocked, traffic in the Suez Canal resumed. No other traffic jam in history has lasted as long as this one. On the other hand, relations between Egypt and Israel improved. Israel returned the entire Sinai Peninsula to Egypt, and Egypt became the first Arab country to recognize Israel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and share it, and thank you for your kind comments. See you in the next exciting video. Dash.